All right, y'all. Welcome to Inside the Silo.
What it do?
You already know what it is.
What's happening?
We here, and today's episode, we're gonna be talking about the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Marlin Terrell.
Hey,
Yes,
that's what
sir.
I'm talking about.
So last episode was an episode where we talked a little bit about me, and Marlon did a great job asking some amazing questions about me, and hopefully you guys got to know a little bit more about me. And now we're gonna do the same for Marlon. So
Hey, what's happening?
yeah, let's start off with where you're from.
Crazy, back up. Where am I from? Hey, I'm actually from here, Dallas, Texas, Irving to be exact. That's exactly where I'm from, and it's a beautiful city. Much to get into.
Were you born and raised here?
Man, born and raised here, and then born and raised here, and then obviously went out to college, right? Like most people do, most Americans do, go to college.
I didn't go to college. Well, I did, but
Bro,
I didn't
you
go
went to college,
I
bro.
didn't go to university like you did.
Hey, I got blessed to go to a university.
You sure did.
I worked hard to get to that university. That's right. So yeah, it was good.
Where'd you go?
So I went to two schools. So the first one was Temple University, and let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you how Temple found me. So I was a 5A 5A high school football athlete. You can look it up, two or three stars on Rivals, and I was a corner and a safety, and I got a handwritten letter to go to a football camp in Florida for the Gators, because I was like, man, you seen Tim Tebow. I mean, you a Florida boy, so you know Tim Tebow.
He was popping at that time.
Jeffrey Demps, Chris Rainey. I mean, they had who else? Who was the corner there?
I'm an FSU fan, so
He a Florida State guy.
I wasn't
You a Bobby
giving
Bowden
too
guy.
much attention to UF at that time.
I was like
But
Urban
Tim
Meyer.
Tebow was popping for sure.
And then you had there were so many people, a lot of people.
Yeah, the
So-
whole squad was good.
So I went to this camp, and that's when I found out, hey, yo, Florida boy is fast. Florida boy is fast. They be out there chasing the rabbits for real. And man, they had a different few universities there, or colleges there, coaches. So one of the coaches was a Temple University coach, and I was in his drill, and he just saw the way I was leading the drill, doing one-on-ones, and like they let people go, like I say the sorry ones go, and then they ask the good ones to stay back to do one-on-ones. That's when I found out Florida boys is fast. But man, that's how they found me at the camp, and then I got an offer. Not too short after that. But the beautiful thing is Temple was the only school to really work with my grades. Now, I'm smart. I'm intelligent. I just did not apply. Look,
I said the same thing too.
you got to apply yourself.
You
I
do.
did not apply myself enough in high school. Yes. Because high school was boring. It was absolutely boring. The only thing that I enjoyed at high school was experience with my friends and playing sports. Those were the two things. Everything else was just like, it's meaningless. What do I need it for? But yeah, man, they found me. I got offered.
What position were you playing?
I was a corner and a safety.
Corner and safety.
Favorite position, nickel. If you a nickel, playing nickel, you a dog.
Wait, where'd you go to high school?
I went to Coppell High School.
Coppell High School, that's right. We're going to talk a little bit more about Coppell High School a little bit.
Okay.
But not right now.
Yeah.
But okay, so you went to the camp, ended up working out in your favor. Temple recruited you, and you went ahead and went to Temple. And I remember, you also had the opportunity to go to a few different schools after that too.
Yeah, I had a few offers.
So and then you also played arena football, right?
I did play arena football for a few years out in San Jose with the SaberCats, and then in Colorado they were called the Colorado Ice, but I think they're called the Crush now. I'm not sure. I'm not 100%. But did that for a few years, and then I played for another team, small arena team out in San Angelo, Texas, like the Bandits or something. Like very low level. Just chasing the dream, man. Chasing the dream, trying to make my way to the league and pretty much, set up my family that way. That was the vehicle that I wanted to drive to get it done, but it didn't happen the way that I planned it to happen. So
For sure.
yeah.
Maybe tell me a little bit, or tell everybody a little bit about some of the crazy experiences you had throughout your college years.
Dang.
I'm going to let the dog out real quick while you do
Okay.
this. What do you think about it?
Yo, so I'm gonna wait till Hiram get back. Then I'm gonna tell y'all a few. How crazy? Like just like crazy or just
Just think about maybe, just like what are some of your most memorable moments from college,
ah
football, just
some memorable
life
moments.
in college? Like, what are some of the things that you
Man,
remember? And man, you're just like, wow, I went through this. This actually happened. It could be good. It could be bad. It doesn't have to be all good.
yeah. Man, I'll say my first day in Philly was crazy. Now, I'm gonna paint the picture. You gotta understand, I'm from Texas, Dallas, Texas, by the way of Irving. So going from the South to the East Coast, the Northeast, going from Dallas to Philly is just crazy. Like, it's crazy.
Would you say it's like, I know I've been to Philly quite a few times. The atmosphere is
Oh,
different, but would you say it's more competitive in nature as well?
in regards to sports, no, but in regards to life, absolutely. In life, 1,000%. But my first day in Philly is my first time on a subway. Now, growing up, you see subways on movies, but you don't think it's like a real thing.
Yeah.
And I'm looking like a tourist. I'm in awe. Like I've never seen buildings like this, never seen cobblestone. Like this is where Benjamin Franklin is buried. They signed the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, all these things, the Liberty Bells there. So I'm in awe. And I get to the subway, and I kid you not, it was two grandmas on the subway arguing about faith. One was a Muslim, one was a Christian. And they got down. They started fighting on that subway.
Like
And
physically?
physically on the subway. My dad is looking like, what I just dropped my son off to? This is crazy. That was day one. Day one. And I was just like, oh yeah, this Philly's gonna be different. But that was like my day one experience. And then, man, just being, I'll tell this to all my college athletes going to school as freshmen, man, embrace the culture shock. If you go into a different state, embrace the change, because it's different than what you are used to in regards to like your culture if you go in somewhere far. But man, I enjoyed it. One of my other favorite moments was this. Hey man, just going out with my boys. I enjoy going out with my boys. Going
South
out
Street?
South Street, getting some clothes.
That's-
If you going to the party, you take
Especially in the Northeast.
you take your
fashion
Pell
is
Grant,
important.
you take a little Pell Grant, a little fast for money that you get, right? You'll get some clothes. Now, if I knew about Bitcoin back then, I would have cashed that
I
check.
squandered my fast food
I would have
money.
cashed that check.
I ain't gonna lie.
But man, I partied a lot in the beginning. I partied a lot. I played football, partied. That's why I could never understand like how if you a regular student in college and you got bad grades, you just suck.
Yeah,
You suck.
for sure. For sure, man. That's awesome, man. College, I went to community college, Broward College, so much different experience than what you had. But nonetheless, it was a good experience. And I will say that going to a whole different state, far away, you probably felt a lot of freedom, and you probably wanted to dabble and explore some things that maybe
Oh,
you
man.
wouldn't have done had you stayed here. Because I know when, going to school down the street from where I lived and I grew up, I felt a lot more comfortable. I wasn't looking to get, wild or anything like that. So,
Bro, if I could have done it again, I'm gonna tell you right now, hindsight 2020, looking back, I love my experience playing college football, going to Temple. But I had the opportunity to play at SMU under Coach June Jones. And he gave me opportunity because he was the head coach at Hawaii at the time, and he gave me an offer verbally over the phone. And then the next week he switched and went to SMU, and he asked me to come, and I was like, nah, bro, I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to go live my best life. So hindsight 2020, yeah, I would have stayed because SMU was a great school. It wasn't a great team back then, but it was a great school. And my family could have seen me play consistently. My brothers who were at North Texas up the street could have seen me play consistently. And, I kind of took that away from my family. So that was one of the bummers. Like my parents only seen one game. I mean, that's all they could afford to come do at the time. But
So they missed out on a lot
they
of
missed out.
time that they could have had been with you if you stayed. It's tough.
Yeah, and me and my brothers being first generation to go to college, like that guidance and that they did the best they could do with the information that they had, and now the information I got now I can pass it down to my children if they decide to take that route.
That's excellent.
But man, I mean, college was fantastic. I got my degree in clinical psychology,
That's awesome.
a minor in counseling. I mean, I did a lot of.
What could you? I know you don't use that degree right now in your work, but what could you do with it?
I mean, I use it. It's human behavior.
That's true. That's so true.
In that sense,
You could use it for sales.
But I started sales.
Yeah, that's right, because that's what you've been doing. I mean, ever since
Pretty
I met
much.
Marlon, he's been an entrepreneur, been a salesman, so this is what he does. I never thought of it that way, actually, until right now. That's a good point.
Yeah, human behavior. Look, I'm gonna tell you how I started in psychology. I didn't know what I wanted to do in college. I went to school for one thing. My coach says this. This is crazy. This is good. My coach told us this: school first.
Why you got a 2 up?
School first.
Yeah, school's first.
Football second. School first. Football second.
That's crazy.
Yo, ain't that crazy? School first, football second. And that's how I took it. I'm like, yo, I gotta ride this thing out. But I found out that, man, bro, just a lot of people always told me their feelings. Look, man,
You were a therapist.
I was a therapist, especially for women, man. I was a womanizing, I'll be honest. And women would just come and I would just listen to their problems, and then, whoop, whoop.
Whoa.
But, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But that's why I was like, maybe I should check out psychology. So I checked it out, and I was like, oh, we just studying human behavior. Mm-hmm. So I don't mind watching people. Sure. Like, I'm an observer. So if you're somebody that likes to observe and understand how people tick, how they move, and X, Y, Z, I recommend taking a look at it.
For sure, man. I'm going to ask you what you asked me similarly. You said if somebody was to open a book about you, what would that first page of the book say? Like, you had an autobiography. Let's just say it was one page. Tell us, what would that page say? Who are you? Who is Marlin Terrell?
That first page would say he's a father. Well, he'll say he's a husband. He's a father. And he's a son of God. He loves his family. He loves his friends. He works hard. He's committed. He's dedicated. He's disciplined. He's faithful. And then a story to go with that would be when you need somebody, like if you had a lifeline, like on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire,
That's good.
9 times out of 10, I'm the guy to call.
I concur.
I'm the guy to call.
That's a good autobiography. I agree with it. That's awesome. Similarly, what you asked me, if you could go back, let's just say 10, 15 years, speak to young Marlin, 13-year-old, 15-year-old, 18-year-old Marlin, what's some advice that you would give him from all the stuff that you've learned today till this point? What would you tell him?
One, bro, keep your stuff in your pants. That's number one. That's off rip. That's a distraction.
Yeah.
Yo, women are a distraction. I'm married now, so, my wife, she a good distraction. I love that right there. I'll take that all day.
She's a qualified distraction.
Qualified. But that's a distraction because once you get a taste of it, you want to taste it all the time. Mm-hmm. That's number one. Focus on your goals, Marlin. Focus on your dreams, Marlin. And we'll get that out the way. Character first. Mm-hmm. Have great character. And then trust God. Be a lover of Jesus Christ. That's the next thing I would say. Because if you don't have anything, you got him. Yeah. I'll tell you that much. The third thing I would tell young Marlin is, bro, don't do drugs. Don't drink.
Yeah.
A disciplined man is a man that doesn't smoke. A disciplined man is a man that doesn't drink. And it's easy to fall into those traps because drinking leads to other things. Smoking leads to other things. So I would say that because my coach always told me in college, bro, you can't smoke and play football. Now, some cats be doing it. I've seen guys run track and hit
smoke.
I've seen guys hit the cigarette before they touched the football field. They had to smoke a cigarette to play. Matter of fact, I had this teammate. I kid you not. I had this teammate. He'll sit down right before we take the field, warm up and everything. He'll light that cigarette up. And he would go out there and ball.
Yeah.
Anytime he didn't smoke a cigarette, he was trash. It was crazy. So we made sure he had cigarettes. It was crazy. So, hey, man, you can't, I'll tell anybody, it's, the young Marlin, man, biggest thing, man, is focus. Keep your eyes on the prize. Stay focused. Everything God has for you will come in due season.
What's the prize?
What's the prize?
Yeah, like what has been the prize for you in life, especially now? So when you think about younger Marlin, like what is it that you feel younger Marlin should be focused on from a young age?
Man, I got some prizes already. One of my prizes is my wife. Absolutely. I have a helpmate, and she's fantastic. Another prize is children. Love it. Yeah. Love being a father. Being a husband and a father are great prizes, And then the next thing I would say, man, another prize is my eternal prize. I'm looking to have an eternity in heaven with Jesus.
That's right.
That's the biggest prize. I think if you wrap your heart, your soul, and your mind around just him, I think everything else will be all right. You know what I'm saying? I think you'll find your way. Yeah. And the biggest thing is this. At the end of the day, if a man doesn't have faith, he ain't got nothing. If a man ain't got faith, he ain't got nothing. I mean, I can't rock with a man that has zero faith. Nah, can't be around you.
What's something about your upbringing that people might be surprised to have learned?
Dang. What's something about my upbringing? Oh, man.
That like when somebody that you've met or even a friend that maybe didn't know a situation, like they hear and they're like, whoa, I did not know you did that or you went through that.
Oh, man. I have a few, but I'll say this. Guys. So one day, I'll do two of them.
Okay.
I'll do one when I was in high school. So one day, this is just to kick it off. One day, me and my boys was gonna go meet. I'm telling you, man, don't focus on women. Me and my boys was going to Six Flags. It's like 4 or 5 of us. We had Tonight Night. That was his nickname, Tonight Night. And then Jay Knight, Nick, Herman, and me. I think that's 5 of us. Yeah. And we're going to link up with some girls at Six Flags out in Arlington. Now, me being the good friend that I am, I had the bread to get in. You know what I'm saying? My other boy ain't had the bread, so we was doing the Coke can thing, right? Like $29, yes. You get a ticket or whatever.
Yes.
And so I had the Coke can, the bread, and I was like, hey, you take the Coke can and the bread. I'm going to take my boy's father's season pass because I was the one that looked the oldest. Did we look alike? No, but I looked the oldest. So me being me, I'm like, man, we get up to the little counter where they check people in, and I see 2 people. I see a little black girl and I see a little white girl. I'm like, man, we can't go to the black girl, bro. She's not going to get me in. She going to turn me in, bro. No, it's the other way. It was the other way. I was like, bro, we can't go to the white girl. She going to turn me in, bro. We can't go. I'm going somewhere with this. She can't turn me into the white girl. She going to turn me in. So I go to the sister. I go over to the sister thinking like, yo, I don't look like him, but since you black and I'm black, you going to let me slide. So I go to the sister. She was like, this not you. I'm like, what you talking about? That is me. She's like, what's your name? So I said the name. I ain't going to release the name on this. But I said the name, and she was like, hold on, let me go get my manager. Oh. So I'm about to tell you something. They got the manager. I'm seeing all my boys going. Then the girls are right there. So I'm embarrassed. I'm like, gosh, they all with the women. I'm over here looking like a square. And I don't even think my wife knows this story. My wife don't even know this story. So, they go get the park police. I'm gonna tell you why. And they handcuff me. And they take me into like one of those interrogation rooms. Yeah, Six Flags has an interrogation room. I just want to let you know that. So don't try to sneak in. So I get in and they asking me questions. And they was like, man, what's your real name? And I was like, man, that's my name. They was like, okay, so you're wanted for X, Y, and Z. Dude had like 3 or 4 warrants.
What?
My boy's father did. And they was serious, like some real warrants, like not none of this traffic stop, none of that stuff. It was some some real warrants. So that was like, what's the name? I was like, my name's Marlin Terrell, Terrell. Get me the heck up out of here. I don't know nothing about none of that stuff, man. Get me out.
Oh my God.
So I got kicked out of Six Flags indefinitely.
Oh, wow.
That's why I haven't been back.
Wow.
Indefinitely. I haven't been back since.
That's crazy.
So
we're gonna smuggle you in there, don't worry.
So yeah, that was crazy.
Man, you were young when that happened.
I was young, so I'm sure it changed.
You were in high school, man.
Yo, my mom picked me up.
This is like 20 years ago.
Yo, my mom picked me up. Yo, I was like, yo, she gonna kill me.
Oh, man.
And guess what? My boys in there
having the time of
life.
life.
And I'm just like,
time of the life.
Me being selfless got me in
trouble.
Yeah. So that's something. But here's what I'm leading.
Do you think it built up like some resentment in you to like
Nah,
do it again?
Man, we was at school on that Monday, just like, yo, like, bro, I go.
About it,
yeah,
like, yo,
whatever. You were seen as a cool kid.
Yeah.
So
you showed up for your friends, man. They had some respect for you after that.
Yeah. So here's something. That's something that you probably wouldn't know. And then the second thing is, this is crazy. I didn't know, like, I went to school with white people. Coppell's predominantly white. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know, like, I was, like, racist like that. Mm-hmm. I had white friends, but I was really racist. It was crazy.
You said you were racist or they were racist?
I was.
You were racist.
They was, too. I didn't know when I look back at how I operated and moved, like, I only talked to white girls because I knew their parents didn't like me. So I wanted to get back at their parents by messing with their daughters.
So it was like spite in your heart almost.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then I didn't know, like, that story right there, I'm not going to the little white girl because she's going to turn me in. Because I'm thinking, like, you don't like me. Right? But that's some of the experience that I experienced at my high school. Mm-hmm. You experience racism at that time.
Yep.
I don't know if Coppell's the same way, but at that time, that's what I experienced. Another funny story, I got arrested in 7th grade.
I remember this story.
You know this story.
Yeah.
I got arrested in 7th grade, dude. Mm-hmm. On day 1 of school.
That's so crazy.
Day 1. I'm fly, I'm fresh.
You got your new shoes on?
New shoes. You know how black people go. We lay our outfits out.
You got your best outfit on first day.
The day before. So, I'm ready. And, man, I go to school. I'm, got my books, and I'm saying, open up the locker. And this girl I knew from 6th grade was right next to me. And I guess her mom I didn't even recognize her mom. I just, I looked back, I said, oh, I'm telling you, hey, young Marlin, don't focus on women. This is crazy. Every story, kingdoms fail because of women. I'm telling you something. Man. But, I see the girl, and I'm like, yo, I said, yo, her name was Brittany. So we ain't gonna say last name. I was like, yo, I said, dang, Brittany, you look good. I looked her up and down, like, what's up?
In 7th grade.
In 7th grade, hey, I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest of 3. I'll say 4 because my cousin, but we were just player.
Yeah.
So, what's up? And she's like, oh, thank you, Marlon. Cool, whatever. I go to class. Bell ring. I'm in class. Sitting down. Yo, they didn't call my name on the intercom or nothing. I'm not going to. You met the officer. I told you the story the same day, you met the officer the same day.
The craziest part is that Marlon tells me this story, and we just happened to be driving for whatever reason somewhere in that area near Coppell, and boom, literally we're driving, we see a cop on the street directing traffic. Marlon puts the window down. Hey, officer, blah, blah, blah. Remember me? And she was like, yes, I remember you.
Yeah. And it's crazy. He met the officer that arrested me, and she came in my 7th grade class, handcuffed me behind my back like I was a criminal. I never told my mother until I was in my third. I just told my mom this story last year.
And what was her skin color?
Bro, she was Mexican.
She was Mexican.
Yeah, she was Mexican.
Did you feel that it was racism towards you
She
at
did.
that time?
Yes. I think yes.
From the officer and the parent? Or
Oh, for sure the parent.
Sure the parent.
I'm going to tell you, 1,000% from the parent. And, yo, the officer didn't like my brother, so I know she didn't like me. So she arrested me, and I'm arrested. First day of class.
7th grade, guys. We're
7th
talking about
grade,
a
I'm
13-year-old
arrested.
boy, okay?
And I go into the office with the principal, and I know my principal well. I know his boys well, still to this day. And the principal asked me, he said, Marlon, so we got some allegations that you sexually harassed Brittany. And I'm like, now me, I'm like, I told you I was smart. I'm not stupid. I'm like, what? How? So they was like, yo, we're going to take you to jail. And I was like, I'm like, on what grounds?
Yeah.
You know? And they was like, you did this and this. And I'm like, and all of a sudden, you know, being a black kid, you thinking about what your mama and daddy gonna do. I'm like,
Right.
man, they gonna kill me, man. They gonna kill me. And they tell me, I'm embarrassed at this point. So they have the girl sitting in the office, Brittany, and her mom's looking pissed. And she was like, he sexually harassed my daughter. They said, Brittany, what did Marlon say to you? She said, she was crying. Marlon said that I look good. And it was like, Marlon, what did you say to her? I said, I told her she looked good. And they was like, man, uncuff him, let him go back to class. Uncuff him, let him go back to class.
Now, man.
All that. I ain't even bring a pistol to school. Imagine that. You see, back in the day, it was crazy.
It was different. Times were different.
Yeah, and the whole thing was that I supposedly sexually harassed her with my words, telling her.
And all you said was you look good.
Yeah, you look good. That's what men do.
Yeah.
Right? So guess what her mom tried to do to make amends? Invite me to her birthday party. Her birthday party.
Ain't no way you going to that birthday party.
I went to that
You
birthday
went to the birthday party?
I went to that birthday party and stunned it. I was like, I'm
Oh,
still
my
going to talk to your
goodness.
daughter. What you going to do?
I could not. Did you tell her she looked good again?
Again, see, and you see how that built that resentment up in me? It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, so those life experiences can dictate and determine, you know, who you are in the future. And,
100%.
it was crazy.
Since we're talking about your experiences, especially in Coppell, and, you know, so for those of you who aren't in this area in Dallas, Texas, DFW Metroplex, I'm from Miami, Florida. I've been here for 6 years now, and I know that this area has grown substantially. Dallas, in general, I feel like has been a melting pot for quite some time.
Yeah.
But I know like northern DFW
exploded.
has been it's been exploding, but
Yeah.
it was predominantly white at one point, especially
Yeah.
areas like Coppell, right?
Frisco.
And even Frisco, but that's changed now. And
Yeah.
so these little pockets, for sure, I'm sure 20 years ago when you were in school, 25 years ago when you were in school, you probably experienced some real racism
Oh, for sure.
that the previous generations really had to go through, like post Civil War, all that, right? Civil rights movement. You probably caught the tail end of that here. I didn't have to go through that in Miami because in Miami we're already a Hispanic melting pot, and blacks and whites fit right into all of that, and there's no real segregation or anything like racism to the point where you're constantly being put in tough situations like you were.
Yeah. Well, you know, let me break down. This might be dirty.
Keep going. I'm gonna restart the camera. Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
I'm gonna break this down. I'm gonna wait till you're back. Now, I'm saved, sanctified, set apart. I ain't like this no more. Like, I'm not racist, trust me. But when it deals with racism and a racist, somebody that is a racist, you got to break the word down. A race and a ist. Mm-hmm. So, and I was telling Hiram this a few weeks ago. Like,
This is one of my favorite things you've ever told me.
yeah, this because I remember hearing about this and really studying and breaking it down. Somebody that is racist get it, racist. If you break that word "ist" down in Greek, it means somebody has mastered a thing. That's why you have a pharmacist like my wife. She's mastered the study of medicine. That's why she's a pharmacist, right? And then you have a scientist. They've mastered the study of science. That's why they get the "ist" behind it. You see what I'm saying? Or a psychologist. They've mastered the study of human behavior, so they're called a psychologist, IST. So a racist means somebody who has mastered their race and they're in love with one's race. That doesn't mean that they just hate your race. They just prefer their race over your race.
Bam.
See what I'm saying?
That's
That's what it means to be racist. Now, what happens is you put a little kid, a black kid, Asian, white, Mexican, little kids in a sand pit. They're all going to play together. Mm-hmm. But when you grow up, somebody has to teach you how to what? Hate or dislike another race. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And teach you how to love and master what? Your race.
Yeah.
You see? That's why we have that whole word racist. Mm-hmm. So hate is rooted by somebody teaching them to hate another race. Mm-hmm. But racist means you in love with your own race.
That's so crazy.
So, yeah.
So can black people be racist?
Oh, 1,000%. I was one of them.
So there are so many people that focus on white people being racist. What does black racism look like?
I'll say a quick ideology politics. Let's just use that.
Sure.
Like you gonna vote for somebody because they just black, right? Or
do you think that perhaps voting for Obama, if he's solely black, would mean that you could potentially be racist?
Yeah, because he didn't hear his policies or his values. You just voted off him because he was strictly black. That's it. And then a black person that's racist, hey, you can't tell them anything. They'll choose the black agenda over anything, especially a black Christian. They'll forget that they're a Christian and they'll put their race over being a Christian.
That's a whole nother problem.
That's a whole nother problem right there.
That's idolatry. We got to talk about that too, but go ahead.
And I'll let you talk about that. But I was a racist because I had, I love being black and I rather do the black thing than the white thing, which is no problem. Mm-hmm. But it led to me disliking white people. Like I told my wife one day, like, yo, man, 90% of white people are racist. And she was like, that is crazy, Marlon. How is that possible? And that's only obviously through the life experiences that I experienced. But I disliked white people so much that I would strategically mess with their daughters just to get back at them because I knew some of them hated it. Like in high school, I dated a girl in high school and she loved me. But her parents, when she was like, yeah, that's the guy that I like. Her parents was like, nah, I can't do it. And let me tell you, I can't tell you what I did because I can't incriminate myself. So I ain't gonna tell you what I ain't gonna tell you what I did, but I'll tell you like this. That put now you see that stirred up some hate in my heart even more towards white people. So yeah, black people can be racist just like anybody else could be racist. Just like a white person be racist, a Mexican person be racist, Asian. You just prefer your race over everybody else. No, you're not looking at merit or character.
Right.
You're looking at race. Yeah. So
it's one of my favorite things that you've ever explained to me. I still remember the first time, and I was like so amazed when I heard it. And it made me reflect because I'm Dominican.
Right.
And I don't know if you know this, but Dominicans are naturally very proud people. Like they're very prideful. We're the best at everything. We're the best at baseball. We're the best at bachata, which is music, merengue, music, right?
Merengue.
They're so prideful.
Yeah.
Just naturally. And so I had to learn, like, as a man and as a Christian as well, no, man, nothing makes me better than anybody else. So it's different, a little different than racism, but still, nonetheless, it's part of that category of ethnic idolatry, really, when you think about it. So nonetheless, it sucks that you went through those experiences, but it's also great hearing the stories and seeing how God has allowed you to be molded and shaped and formed so that you can help other people that might be experiencing this in
Yeah.
their life. So I guess maybe help us walk through your transition. Like, how did your mind change concerning racism? Because obviously you're not racist anymore, and as far as I know, you voted for Mr. Donald Trump, who
Yep.
is Republican, and
45, 47.
previously you voted Democrat, right?
Trizzy.
So
Big Trump.
I guess, like, what are some of the main things that open your eyes, generally,
Hmm.
um, and then also politically, if that makes sense?
So I want to see how I want to break. I have like three or four key moments. So I'm gonna start with number one. So when I used to, this is big too. I used to live in East Texas, Longview. Shout out to Longview, Lobos. What's up, baby? Um, I used to live in East Texas in Longview. I was working out there, and in East Texas, you would think there's like this cloak of racism out there, and it's really not that way. It is a kind of a melting pot, but it's country folks, folks from the sticks, and being out there, it was Trump's starting to run for his second election, and I had some black guys. I'm like, yo, y'all voting for Trump? Y'all whack. I was crushing them. I was like, man, y'all don't love black people. I was that pro black everything, black business, black owned, black, right? I was a racist. I love my race, and I never considered that. Yo, what has in a friend of mine? Shout out to Dylan, one of the strongest dudes I know. A friend of mine told me straight up, like, instead of looking at it from ideology, politics, bro, just look at why do you hate Trump? What has he done to you personally? And I was like, nothing. Okay, what has he done to black people? I was like, nothing. Okay, he does. Okay, well, look at his policies. Go look at his policies and then see if it aligns to your morals and values. And then go look at Obama's policies and Biden's policies and see if they align to your morals and values. When I did that, it opened up my mind. And I was like, oh, snap. My morals and values align with Trump way more than Obama. I voted for Obama strictly because he was black.
What are some of those policies that you see that Trump is for that maybe Obama and Biden weren't?
Pro-life.
Pro
One.
life, okay.
Pro-life. Close that dang border.
Close the border.
Right? Taxes. I'm all for the exemptions from taxes. Right? I love a free market America, capitalism. I don't believe in socialism. I don't believe in that. And, unfortunately, the Democrats believe in that kind of stuff. So that was big. And then what I realized is, man, Trump is for American people. White, black, brown, yellow, doesn't matter. He's for American people. And they challenged me. And I'm a man that men that challenge, you can grow it.
Absolutely.
Men that challenge, you can grow it. A man that
Absolutely.
doesn't like challenging or face challenges, you can't grow. You can't grow in the comfort zone. You got to get uncomfortable.
Come on now.
So they challenged me, and it was uncomfortable. And then I did my research, and then I really started to sit back and watch people, and I start seeing Trump rallies, and I start seeing more black people for Trump in East Texas. Not so much in the suburbia area, because you really won't get that in Dallas. Dallas is kind of like a blue city.
Yeah.
But
Dallas
the
for
suburb,
sure.
but the suburbia area, but the rural area, man, you got people out there feeding their families that work in the oil fields. I'm for drill, baby, drill, because I saw friends of mine who worked in the oil field and saw their lives change because of Biden, right? So when I saw that, and I saw Asians, hey, yo, Spanish people really go hard for Trump, for sure. And I started seeing things like that, and I was like, oh, snap. And then my wife challenged me because I was like, yo, 90% of people are racist. Trump is racist. And my wife challenged me. And I had to sit there and think about it. And she said, "Why would you call him racist?" And I didn't have a good answer. I just went off of what was taught to me.
That's right.
But if you go do your research, how many people, black people, Trump has helped, they all want to go back to that. What is that? Um, Central Park Five. Nah, that was young Trump just saying whatever,
Yeah.
right? But that was another key moment. My wife challenging me, my boys in East Texas, and seeing their life and how their morals and values and their life align with Trump, and Trump helped their life, and then um, the policies, obviously, and then another thing. This is a big one, and I'm just gonna say it, and this might hurt some people's feelings. I don't care, bro. You can't be a Christian and vote for a Democrat. Just don't make sense.
It's a hard thing to hear,
It personally,
but it's the truth.
it doesn't make sense. I'm not look.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna tell you what to do, but you can't be a Christian and vote for. You can't be a Christian and say, "Go ahead and abort that baby." You can't be a Christian and say, "It's okay to have a little boy in a little girl's bathroom. It's okay for a grown man to fight against a woman." Nah,
So let me ask you this, okay? You were a Democrat all your life.
and I had no reason to be a Democrat, bro. I just did it because my parents were a Democrat.
Do you think most black Democrats today are only Democrats because their parents told them to?
1,000%.
What is keeping black Democrats in the Democrat Party?
Stubbornness, pride, and ego. Black people are stubborn. We're naturally stubborn.
What has the Democrat Party done for black people that has kept them in that place?
That's a great question. Democrats have dangled a carrot in front of black people, and I'm going to describe the carrot. One of the carrots is, hey, if you're a single mom, if you keep your income at a certain level and you keep the father at the house, the government will help you more, right? That's that WIC. You don't know what WIC is, go look it up. Also, hey, we're for black people. We'll do this for black people. We'll do X, Y, and Z. But when they get in office, they do nothing, right? Obama said he'll do so much for the HBCUs, but hindsight 2020 did nothing. But guess who did? Trizzy.
Yeah, Trump did.
Trizzy.
Trump gave lots of money to the
Gold
HBCUs.
gold shoes Trump. Come on, stop playing. Gold shoes Donald Trump. Hey, man, I'm grateful. But one of the biggest things is this: ideology politics. Your parents teach you that Democrats are for black people and Republicans are for white people. Republicans are racist. Republicans
That's
have that
so crazy.
stigmatism
Man,
of
it's
being
crazy.
racist. There's nothing they can do to change that.
Well, they're spinning a new one now. They're saying that Republicans are for rich people now. That's what they're saying.
I mean, if Republicans were rich people, then how did AOC get rich? How did Hillary? First of all, Hillary really?
How did all these
Republican.
Democrats get rich?
Well, you see what happened. Doge has uncovered
You know what Elon
many
said?
things.
Elon said if he actually came out with the truth about some things, that they would probably kill him. I don't know if you saw that on Joe Rogan.
Oh
recently.
no, I missed that.
But it's insane, man. But I appreciate you sharing that, and I know that it's never fun to encounter things like racism. But when you start to open up and you start to realize, we've been fed lies for such a long time, and when I say we, I mean us as American people. It's this constant divide that's trying to take place in our nation.
Yeah.
And it'll happen within everything. You think about it. Skin color, gender, everything. I mean, everything is being attacked right now. And if we could have unity, this country would be so powerful.
And let me say this. You're right. If we could have unity, and it's true, we can look at what unity is so strong. It's so powerful. That's why it says United States.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
UNI,
Yeah.
unity, unite. I ain't even gonna go there. You know, I'm a man of studying words. But here's the thing. From what I've experienced, because I used to be a Democrat and I voted for Biden in
Yeah.
2020. So I feel like I've earned the right to speak on these topics
Right.
because I've been on both sides of the field. Not saying no one else has the right to, but I know I've I've took L's and now I'm getting some W's.
For sure.
Right? I've won a championship and I've lost one, right?
For sure.
So what I'm saying is this. Um, I hate to say it, but there's some Americans, more so Democrats, that play the race card than Republicans play the merit and character card from what I've experienced, what I've learned. Another thing is, I just want to say this. My parents are fantastic. They raised me and my brothers well.
I mean,
They didn't have much,
I
but
think so. You're a great
oh,
person.
1,000%. Me and my brothers were the first to go to college, graduated, and my two brothers are excellent. They both have their masters.
That's awesome.
You know, my brother he's a police officer out here in Dallas. That's the eldest one. Shout out to Mark.
Shout out, Mark.
You know, and then my other brother, Marquise, he is a successful corporate America man. He's ran a umpiring business for several years. He has a beautiful wife, 2 beautiful children, and he's doing his thing.
And I love his car too.
Yeah, he got a beautiful car.
love his car.
He killing it, man. My brothers are killing it. And, you know, my mother taught me and my brothers one thing. If you don't have anything, no matter what, wherever you guys are in the world, one can be in the east corner of the world, the west, and the north. You guys got each other.
My mom always tells me that too.
You guys got
That's
each
so
other.
awesome.
And I know that's true, but, you know, I also have brothers in Christ,
Absolutely.
always and forever.
Absolutely.
So, you know, racism played a big part, but here's a big, I didn't get to it, but man, Christ delivered me from racism,
That's awesome.
being a racist.
Yes.
And I'm sharing that to say this, man, a lot of things that stuck in a man's heart, therapy won't get it out. Therapy won't get it out. Man, you need an encounter with God. You need Christ to come in and fill that void and get those things and wring them out your heart. So, man, I that's when I really realized I was racist. When one day we did that rooms thing,
Oh, wow.
and I had yo, he just revealed it to me. I was like, oh snap! I never thought. I was like, yo, how could you love your brother and you don't like him because he's white? Yo, if you're a Christian, that comes first. That takes precedence over everything else.
Absolutely.
And that's a little, you know, I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
So
That's fire. I appreciate that. So if you don't know Marlin, like on a day-to-day basis, Marlin is, first of all, entrepreneur. He's done several businesses. He's a salesman. He has the gift of speaking. I mean, listen, this man will go up to anybody and has to start a conversation. It's one of my favorite things about you. You are not ashamed. Man, it doesn't matter how old the person is. You'll go up to them. No matter if it's a guy or girl, you'll go up to them, say hello, and compliment them, tell them something nice, ask them how they're doing.
yeah,
So on that note, if you could go back to being 18 years old, if you had $100 in your bank account and you didn't go to college, just say you had to multiply those $100, what would you do? Knowing everything you know now, like, or maybe look at it from a perspective of now that you know all the things that you do, give some life experience to a young man who has $100 in his bank account. What would you do?
$100 in his bank account.
Yeah.
Hey, go get a job. You need to make some more money.
What would you do
At 18,
at 18?
I would find there's 2 things I would do. This is good. 18, you're not in college. 2 things you can do, and there's 2 paths. 1, find a sales job. Why? Doing sales will teach you the gift of gab, how to communicate and speak and articulate yourself.
Yep.
It'll teach you how to overcome challenges, right? Because you have to overcome objections. It would also teach you how to work and earn things. In sales, you don't get paid unless you sell something. You have to earn it. In starting a business, if you have no sales, you have no business.
That's true.
Simple as that.
No sales, no business.
Every company has a sales team.
Every company.
And mom and pop, corporate, Fortune 500, doesn't matter, right? Enterprise, all right? Here's the second thing I would say. If you don't want to go into sales, because I've touched every one, if you don't want to go into sales, find a trade.
Oh, yes.
Right now, I'm in the trade.
That's right.
HVAC. Find a trade. Find a local company. You don't have to go to school. Find a local company that's willing to take a chance on a young 18-year-old man and be ambitious, driven. I call it the 3Ds: discipline, dedicated, and determined.
That's right.
Discipline, dedicated, and determined. You do those three things and you stay focused, man, you'll do well in life. So sales, trade, and there's the last thing I'm going to
Love
say.
it.
Hey, 18-year-old guy, man, life is yours.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have some shortcomings. You're gonna take some L's, but those L's turn to lessons. And guess what? You're gonna win. You're gonna win, man. You're gonna win, and no one's gonna be able to stop you. And once you start winning, make sure you reach back and teach somebody. I think Denzel said it one day. Each one, reach one, teach one.
Yeah.
That's how you multiply. Each one, reach one, teach one. That's multiplication, you know. And if you want to help others, a famous philosopher said this. Jim Rohn says this: do more than what you get paid for. You know, do more than what you get paid for. So, become a high value man, a man of virtue, a man of value and morals. And I'll say one of the biggest things, if it comes to character, be a man of integrity,
That's right.
service, leadership,
Mm-hmm.
ownership,
Got to do it.
and be a man of discipline.
Excellent. I got 2 more questions for you.
Yeah,
All right, we're going to wrap up.
this is good, though.
Excellent. What is your favorite part about being a father and a husband?
My favorite part about being a father and a husband, I'm going to start with a father, and I'm in with a husband.
Sure.
All right, so my favorite part, it's today, literally.
Yeah.
My favorite part of being a father is this. As I was on my way over here, I was leaving. I was walking out. My son is almost 1. He'll be 1 next Saturday.
Yeah, almost there.
He says, Baba, Baba. So that's what my wife is Persian. She's from Iran. So that's what they say in their language, Farsi. Baba, that's what they call father. Baba. And I had to open that door up and give him a hug and a kiss and tell him I love him again. Mm-hmm. And then my daughter runs and saying, Baba, I want to kiss and give brother a kiss again too. Aww. So my favorite part about being a father is knowing that my kids love me. Mm-hmm. I know my kids love me.
Nothing like it, man. Nothing like it.
No,
It's so great.
I just got a revelation.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how God feels.
Exactly.
When he knows his kids love him.
Exactly.
That's my favorite part, knowing that my
wonderful.
kids love me.
Yeah.
I already love them.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing they can do to take my love away.
Mm-hmm.
I already love them. And my favorite part about being a husband is, I'm going to just say the first thing, having my wife, not having a wife, having my wife with me until the end.
Amen.
There's nothing anything could do to separate us.
Yeah.
My favorite part of being a husband is having my wife. And I know that's kind of like, where's more? But let me break it down for you. I'm going to give you some more. My wife is a rock. My wife holds it down. My wife is compassionate. She's loving. She's caring. She nurtures well. She's a great wife. She's a great mother. And when I had a friend ask me this. He said, Marlon, when did you know you was ready to marry your wife? And I got revelation that day when I said it. I said, I knew I was ready to marry my wife when I was ready to die for her. A man that's willing to die for his wife is ready. Mm-hmm. And it says it like this. Hey, husbands, love your wife as Christ loves the church. He died for the church. I would die for my wife. Mm-hmm. And she'll die for me. And another thing I love about my wife is this. Yo, I asked my wife, I said, yo, if I ain't gonna say that because I don't want nobody. I ain't gonna say that. I don't want nobody to be like, yo, y'all crazy. But man, I just having my wife, man. That's my favorite part about being a husband, having my wife. Mm-hmm. And
you guys are perfect for each other, man.
Yeah, she's excellent.
You really are. You guys are such a beautiful couple. I really admire you. I admire your relationship, just the dynamic. You play the role of a husband really well, and she plays the role of a wife really well. Nice. So
I appreciate that.
That's excellent, man. Shout out to Beta. And
shout out to Beta B.
Bun B, that's what I call her, Bun B.
Bun B, Bun Beta.
But yeah, man, it's a blessing. Being a father, being a husband is a blessing. And I pray that God continues to give you more revelation and just enjoyment and fulfillment in those things. It's so awesome.
Thank you, brother.
Excellent, man. Well, look, this has been awesome. I feel like this episode is way better than my episode.
Dang.
Because you share some amazing things. We went into topics that are relatable for people.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful that we got to hit some really key points.
Harm's an excellent guy, guys.
Any final words?
Final words.
I mean, they're gonna get to know us anyway more as we do more episodes, so it's no big deal. I thought this was a great episode, and we're gonna get a lot of content out of it. I know that for sure.
Final words. I would say this. My mama always said this. I said I was gonna write a book about my mother, and I am. My mama always said this. She said, "Son, it's okay to be nervous as long as the butterflies are flying in one direction."
That's funny.
Yeah.
Which way are they going?
Hey, anytime I'm nervous, I'm okay because I want to just make sure the butterflies are flying in one direction.
That's it.
Right. So
getting the job done.
Hey, I've been nervous a lot of times. Hey, people be like, bro, you don't look nervous. Oh, I'm nervous. They just, the butterflies are flying in one direction.
Excellent.
So
awesome, man. Well, appreciate y'all. We out of here. Catch you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.